इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Thank you, Kanika. A very good afternoon, friends. I welcome you all to webinar of Investor Advantage, and I thank you for participating on this Thursday afternoon webinar. I'm Sonia Chaudhary, founder and MD Franwork Brands. This session is all about how you can start your own business. And India being a shopkeeper nation, I can understand, and I hope you all appreciate, acknowledge, we have every home which has an aspiration of owning and starting a business at some point of time in their lives. So being an investor-centric and a franchise-focused company, this became the very purpose of Franchise India, where we wanted to make every Indian self-reliant through entrepreneurship. And the route that we took was absolutely, franchising. And this became the foundation of a company where our platform of Franchise India in the last 24 odd years has been helping investors like you to research various opportunities from a unit franchisee to a multi-unit franchisee, and at the same time also assist in evaluation from the various options that you see, and equally learn from the industry experts. And I also, I'm humbled by the patronage that we received in these years from all our business buyers. Millions of business buyers have trusted our platform to research these opportunities. And out of these many millions who have done that, about 78,000 investors actually registered with Franchise India, and we helped them and guided them in combining our experience of the industry and help them to buy a business. So friends, while we take you through a short presentation on the assessment of a business and your readiness of investing in a business, of how to take an informed decision, but before that, I like to also set a perspective on the industry at large, why franchising and why the need of an advisor. And while I do that, I will also request all of you, I see many of you still joining in, I'll request all of you to make the session very, very interactive, as interactive as we can. And since the only premise of all of us being here is that we all want to start a business, I'm sure, when we have a mindset of starting a business, we have already decided the timeline when we want to start. So would be helpful for me if you can all go and take it on, the Q&A box that you see on the screen down, and let me know how many have already decided, the timeline. And that can be, as short as 15 days, because, every time we do it, And I get a lot of response where people want to start it immediately, maybe a week time, 15 days, 6 months, 1 year. So whatever the time frame for you to start a business, if you already decided, please go on the Q&A box and write that. And when you do that, I will also request if you can mention the city also that you wish to start the business. It will help me in knowing your interest area and help me in also engaging with you. And like I mentioned, let's make it interactive. So more we know about each other, we would make it engaging. So guys, please go on to the Q&A box. Please likhna shuru kijiye, and also let me know which language you're comfortable. I'll try to do a mix of both English and Hindi. And having said that, I will also like to add Franchise India has operations in about 97 odd cities in India through our independent franchise consultants and our direct offices in all the top cities of India. So all of you who would want to have even a face-to-face meeting, a physical meeting in the cities, our teams at Franchise India would facilitate that for all of you. So welcome, Mr. Khan, from Chennai. 3 months is the timeline that you're looking at. We have Mr. Sachin P looking at 6 months of time frame. That's decent enough. And we also have Mr. D. Ankush, who's looking at starting a business in 6 months is the time that you're looking. Guys, please keep writing in, and I'll keep, taking your names up and announcing. And if you also, and my second question would be, while you're still writing, if you already decided on the industry, do make a mention if they're very specific category that you've decided, it's apparel, footwear, retail, services, food, QSR. That would also help me in understanding the interest area and, what is in demand. Today, when we work with investors, while we work with a lot of companies, almost every top company, a startup, companies at various stages of their expansion, Franchise India works very, very closely with them. But on the other side, we have a big interface, which is a big ecosystem of investors that we work with. And I would say that has been the foundation of Franchise India. Today, whatever we are, it is not because of the companies that we work with, but because of the trust that the investors have on our company. So we also work backwards on the requirement of our investors. So I'll also request if you have anything specific on the industry or a category, please go ahead and also push, put that on the Q&A box. So welcome, Nipam ji. You looking for a span of 3 to 4 months of time. Welcome, guys. So keep writing in and I'll pick up as much as possible. And also if you have any questions on a specific industry, category at large, industry at large, you can keep writing in and I'll take as many questions as I can. And now, before I start the presentation, maybe, I like to set, like I mentioned, perspective on entrepreneurship, franchising, and why the need of a franchise advisor or advisor who can advise you in buying a business opportunity. Now, when we look at entrepreneurship or we look at, thinking, whenever we are thinking of even becoming an entrepreneur, I would say the opportunities that we think of can be many. There are plenty of opportunities. And also, there might not be a limit in terms of what business ideas that we might want to pursue. But if you want to start a business that comes with established name, systems and processes, a business model of franchising is always considered I would say a good fit and also a safe fit, and there are only 3 ways one can start a business or run a business, wherein the very first option is startup. People can run their own businesses, which can be a small company or, and grow up to a bigger one. It can be an existing business, which you buy from somebody who's doing that business. And we also call that resale of business or secondary business, so to say. And the third is where you buy a name, tried and tested model. And that's what we call franchising. Now, with respect to a mentor or an advisor, we always maintain that having a mentor can be valuable in your business buying decision. And as advisor brings experience of the industry, he also brings a lot of insights. He also is able to align the interest of a potential investor and also creates a balance between the franchisee and the franchisor. At the same time, you will all acknowledge any potential business buyer also finds it very, very difficult, challenging to determine, how to get started, where to start, and, what to narrow down on. So advisor helps you assess the viability of various business models. And at the same time, our teams also work with each one of you to outline the timeline and the strategies to the path of starting the business. And franchising has been considered as a growth instrument, and this is a very sustainable growth instrument for companies and equally for investors or partners who take these businesses, because it reduces investment risk. And that's the most important parameter or aspect, which I would say is the reason for success of franchising, both from the investor side, franchisee side, and the brand side, because risk is one element And this is where franchise companies provide a safety net because it comes with a proven formula which is in place, and there's a likelihood which is higher likelihood of success. But at the same time, it can work well when experienced entrepreneurial candidates come forward to run the businesses. We have also in our last 23, 24 odd years have seen a lot of these partnerships or businesses also failing, and primarily the reasons are very common, and sometimes we don't work very hard on this, and this is wrong combination of people or partnerships. Second is location, which is also a very big reason for businesses to fail. And third, which is also very, very common, is expectations mismatch. We get into partnership, but a lot of expectations don't match, and many businesses or partnership part. So franchising, while it creates a lot of intelligent synergies because it brings the combined strength of you as a franchise partner and the company who collaborate with each other. And, I would say underline this collaboration because it is not the strength of alone which makes the business successful, but it is combined strength and collaboration with each other to make the business sustainable. And franchising also cuts across every industry, all industries. A lot of investors who come to us and ask which industry is doing well, and I always maintain it cuts across every industry. And I'm sure you would agree, be it a ice cream brand, be it a footwear brand, be it a fine dining restaurant, be a service laundry brand, be it a preschool, K-12, all these companies, including pharmacy shops, all these categories which I'm talking about, there are companies which have done well and fairly well. So while it cuts across every industry, but at the same time, you as an investor, you need to find your own fitment of what is right for you. So as you would find the assessment and find your own fitment of what is right, at the same time, the company is also doing that. And so what we have done in this presentation is we have created a very integrated approach of how to select the right franchisee. So which absolutely takes care of your interest, your experience, the finances, time involvement, and most importantly, the risk appetite. And while you do that, the companies, the franchisors are also finding the right fitment or the qualification, I would say, which could include your net worth, it could include your cash in hand, experience in the same business or the industry, I would say your credit score. So these are some things which a lot of companies take into consideration before they award a franchisee. So we always maintain that as a prospective investor, you need to take a thorough due diligence before you invest in any opportunity. So can I request if we have the presentation on the screen now? Friends, we'll talk about the assessment tools, and I would say a lot of people are drawn to franchising, and if it is right for you, it can be a roadmap to profitable business ownerships. I have a lot of investors I have worked in my own maybe last 20 odd years of my experience in franchising, where people have come to us and taken businesses repeatedly. So they're serial entrepreneurs, they own businesses. There are people who have come and taken area franchisee. A lot of people, even while they had the money, we denied not to go ahead because area franchisee also needs different set of capabilities of managing your territory and also supporting sub franchisees who are under you. So all that is something which our company also advises, works with all of you. So these are 5 assessment tools that you see on the screen, which is important for any investor to look at. Even if you're not taking services from Franchise India, this is something that you can also do at your end, which includes your own self-assessment, the industry that you want to choose that needs to be assessed in detail. The market that you want to start the business is very, very important. Equally important is peer assessment, which is, I would say, brand assessment, which is competition assessment. And lastly is the company that you have selected. We call that brand assessment. So these are 5 assessment tools that you should be able to do a detailed analysis before you sign on the dotted line. And we go on the next slide where we have further segregated, and there are 25 points under these 5 assessment tools that you must go through. And we have created a very simple, structure where, can we go on the next slide? So we have created a very simple structure. So when you look at this slide, these are 25 important points, and simply you can keep ticking mark on the left-hand side. We can even share this presentation with you. And if you want to take a screenshot, you can also do that. Very simple. If you already decided on the opportunity or going to, or whatever stage you are, it's very simple. Keep, ticking on the left-hand side. If you have a score which is more than 20, the opportunity that you've selected is excellent, and your chances of a successful business is higher. Anything between 15 to 20 is also good enough. But if the score is 15, then we don't advise to go ahead with the opportunity. Maybe you go back, rework, and where you scored less. It could be the brand itself. It could be maybe the market that you want to open. It could be the industry. It could also be self-assessment. So go back and rework on that. Having said that, we also have companies who also have their own assessment, and they would also qualify your fitment. So all this put together, makes a very strong groundwork for you to select. So I'll quickly, take you through these 25 points. Now, entrepreneur mindset is where you assess what entrepreneurship means to each one of you. And this might mean differently to all of you. It might be different to me. It might be different to, all of you out here. This is the stage where you get into a lot of introspection. This is self-discovery stage where a lot of self-actualization happens. And everything, whether that's business or any other goal that you have in your lifetime, it all starts with alignment of, first and foremost, your life goals. Everything comes secondary. So when you are looking for a business, what you need to do is you need to align your life goals and business goals. So both these alignments have to happen, where you find out what you're truly passionate about, and also figure out how to make it a business case. A lot of people go behind passion, but not necessarily that passion converts to a economically profitable business model. And these two things must go hand in hand, passion and a business model which makes money for you. So these two things are very important. Passion alone cannot help you run the business. So what we look at is absolutely, these things which are financial goals. And there are three things that I always advise that you must look at when you look at your financial goals, where you need to look at, I call it the TRR rule, which is T stands for timeline, R stands for risk, and the third is again R, which is the return. So timeline would mean your timeline to achieve the financial goal is a short-term goal. You want money to be recovered in, say, or that goal is, say, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year goal. So based on the timeline that you want to achieve the goal, your investment should be made. And investing should be a way to enhance income and not supplement it. When you say investing, it should be able to enhance the income. It should not just supplement it. And if you look at the different asset classes, different asset classes that we invest in, they have three fundamental goals. One goal is safety. I want to invest in business. I'm looking for safety. I look at income. That's my second fundamental goal. Third fundamental goal is growth. Now, when I look at these three fundamental goals and I find out what returns I can get, a business of safety or an asset class which I invest as a safety will give me a low return, but also low risk. This is a low risk business, low return, right? Income would be medium risk, medium return. Growth would be, high risk and high return. There can be no other equation. There cannot be a business which gives you highest of returns and lowest of risk. Any company, any brand which promises this is fluking. So this equation can never go wrong. So you need to look at three things. I'm repeating: timeline that you want to achieve the financial goal. Second is the risk that you have to take or the ability of risk taking. And third is the return that you're expecting. And all these three things can eventually be based on the different asset classes based on your goal of safety, income, and growth. Second is capital. This is what we advise all our investors is to avoid too much of leverage and invest within your own expertise and financial means, which is very, very important. So what you need to do is you need to assess your liabilities and assets that you have and ensure that you have at least 6 months of working capital with you. Don't leverage yourself too much. Biggest reason why businesses fail is lack of financial management. Right. Third is your time involvement. And this is something I emphasize most. A lot of investors we work with also look at investments where they're looking at less time involvement or no time involvement at all. But I would say 95% to 98% businesses, that are franchisable or require somebody to operate are people who are businesses which requires also your time involvement. Yes. The number of hours that business would require might vary. Some businesses need you maybe for the entire 8 to 9 hours of trading. Some businesses might need you only for maybe 2 to 3 hours. And having said that, maybe about 2 to 5% businesses still exist which might just need you as a passive investor. You don't have to run or operate the business. So at Franchise India, I would have maybe a very small portfolio of businesses. which does not require an investment. You become a passive investor and you invest in these businesses. But comparatively, these businesses come with a very high investment. And I would say, starting from 50 lakhs and going up to maybe, 7-8 crores and upwards. So that's the, kind of equation that we have. And some examples for a franchisee owned and company operated model are some of the companies that we work very, very closely with, including Croma, which is a part of the Tata Group. The investment starts from about 5.5 odd crores. The company takes care of the entire operations, and the investment which is done by the franchisee is for a period of 21 years. So if you're looking at a 21 years of horizon, you want to invest in a company which is trusted and you have, reasonable returns coming on the investment, this can be a good bet. So, and lastly is your fallback plan, which is businesses, are an investment, and it protects a business buyer finances from being exposed to risky businesses, right? So, which means that you need to have a fallback plan that can help you mitigate maybe initial working capital or burn that you have. At the same time, give you lead time for business to come to an optimum level. आपका पहले महीने से आप ब्रेक इवन पे नहीं आएंगे. किसी बिजनेस को ब्रेक इवन पे आने में भी कम से कम 3 से 6 महीने लगते हैं, depending on the nature of the business. But having said that, you should always have a fallback plan. A lot of investors sometimes even come and say, I have this investment to be made, maybe 1 crore, 2 crore, and I want to put that in multiple businesses, 2 or 3 businesses. They want to split that investment. And we always advise, while you have that investment with you, but it also needs your operational capabilities. So don't go ahead and invest in these 3 businesses altogether. Put time, maybe spend about 6 to 8 months establishing the first business, and then go and maybe make that investment in the second business. So that's very important for us to understand. And equally on the industry, and if you have seen the last, ever since the pandemic had hit, we have a lot of new age businesses which have become very, very prominent. I'm sure you've been hearing about a lot of companies, be it EdTech, be it EV. So all these industries would also need assessment, and even the traditional industries that are into franchising. So what we look when we look at industry assessment is the opportunity size, how big the opportunity is. Is it overcrowded? Is it commoditized? Everyone is doing that. And as an investor, can I have a first mover advantage if I invest in that business? For example, we're working with this company called The Man Company. This is one of the leading direct to consumer brand. I'm sure everybody knows the brand. And this company has raised good capital, rather I would say a very big market share in the category, which is men's grooming. They already have. They're already running stores in all the prominent malls of India. And we have an exclusive mandate with The Man Company where they have logged in all upcoming malls and the current malls. So all these locations are logged. And now these locations are very limited. Maybe a place like Pune or Bombay, all the top malls have been logged by them. So my opportunity would be limited to only 4 or 5 locations which have been logged by them. So if you're looking at an opportunity like that, being the first mover always helps. And it could also be a new industry like electric vehicle, that is very much in demand. We have a show which is happening in Bombay this Saturday and Sunday, and we got a lot of inquiries from investors, and they were asking, do you have EV companies, EV charging station, dealership? So these are some industries which I would say are worth exploring. So look at second is the growth prospect, right? So when I say growth prospect would mean any business that you're looking at requires thinking and acting on a time horizon of years. It is not months. Every time we look at a business, we feel, what are the next 6 months, 7 months look like? Is it good enough? Are the prospects bleak? But any investment that you're doing, you need to ensure this is future fit. Future fit would mean next 5 years, is this business going to get consumed or not? That's very, very important. If fit is getting consumed and there's a consumer for that, even in the next 5 years, 10 years, I would say that's an opportunity worth looking at. Don't look at how the next 3 or 4 months look like. Look at a future fitness of next 5 to 10 odd years. And equally important are, these 2 things, which is demand and supply, and innovation, which is very, very important. And if you look at the times that we are in, a lot of companies have become redundant. They have shut their companies because they were not innovating. And I've seen a lot of companies which were giving franchising earlier, or, not very foundationally very strong in terms of their business model, have collapsed, especially when they didn't have a innovation integrated in their business model. So in order to remain relevant in our ecosystem and to the business buyer and also to the end consumer, companies are innovating their product. They're bringing a distinct solution. They're also bringing distinct service offering to their investors and to the end consumer. So find out find out when you look at these options. Now, looking at the market assessment, what you need to look at is, these 5 things that you see on the screen. But I would also give you another perspective. When you look at the market that you want to open the businesses, you need to also look at 3 things. One, the business itself can be new. So you need to understand, is the business new? Second, is the industry new? And third, at what stage is that business, right? So is it a startup stage? Is it at growth stage? Is it at a stage where it's already penetrated in all major cities? Because all these 3 things will help you define whether that business will have potential in your city of interest or not. So what you look at is the overall demographics, the segmentation of your market. Need gap is very important, and it involves a lot of analytical thinking and analysis of the current market offering. Now, to the extent that they're meeting the consumer needs or not. And this gap could be in the level of service itself. Maybe I have a lot of salons nearby, but the level of service is not apt, right? It could also be in the level of product. It could also be in the level of the pricing. So you need to find that need gap and find if you're able to close that gap with the opportunity that you want to bring to that market. Third is obviously TG, consumer behavior. Regulations and real estate are 2 important elements which I would emphasize upon. And I remember, there was a brand many years back that we had closed then. And there was in Tamil Nadu, there was a regulation that nitrogen gas was banned. And this guy had taken a master franchisee of a company from North India for the entire state. And nitrogen being banned, he could not run that business at least for some time. And then, so when I talk about regulations, it could be, any licensing that you need for maybe a drug license, for example, running a pharmacy. It could be liquor license, which I understand is a very big issue, especially in, places like Hyderabad, Tamil Nadu. These locations have either the cost is very expensive, or you can transfer the existing license to the new, but procuring a fresh license is a difficult affair. So understand the regulations that you have. It could also be the electric vehicle regulations, because both center and state have advisory on that. So whatever your state guidelines say, you need to have complete understanding on that. And on the location, there is one thing which I would say, go blindly on, and that's a thumb rule when looking for a location. And that would be, you look at where your competition is performing and where it is present, one, and second, which are the locations they are performing their best. You might have a competition present in the market, but it might not be doing well. So 2 things: where is the competition, and which location spots they're doing well in that market. So locations where they're doing well is absolutely, something which can be very close and you might not go wrong. And these locations, would be obviously a high potential locations. And when you look at brand to brand competition, which you call as peer-to-peer competition, you need to understand businesses of today, they're moving to a new logic. When I say new logic, disruption is a word that we hear very, very often. Technological changes, they require very dynamic capabilities with the company, right? And when the company does not have these dynamic capabilities, they fail to penetrate in the market, they fail to scale, they fail to sustain. So you need to look at the competition from these 4 parameters. You need to look at, what is the competitive advantage that you have over the other brands. Second is, the penetration of the company and the performance, which I just talked about. Third, you also need to understand the barrier to entry, which is these are barrier to entry would mean obstacles or hindrances typically that makes it difficult for a new company to enter a given market. These may include technological challenges. It can include government regulations, like I talked about. It can include some patents. It can include some licensing requirements. So all these sometimes become a barrier to the entry. So when you do a comparative analysis, you understand if there's a barrier to entry. Fourth is the offering, and which is a product differentiation that you have. The offering that you have, is it just a Me Too brand? Am I offering just a Me Too product or a Me Too solution? So if there's a differentiation, understand what differentiation is and how my end consumer receives that in my market. So these are 4 things which you need to understand when you look at competition. And lastly, brand assessment. This is diagnostic of the company. You need to spend a lot of time on this. And there are 4 important dimensions of a business, right? And I'll talk about that. Having, we've talked about franchising at large. Not all franchisors are same. That is something which is important to be understood. So you need to do your own research to get to know everything you can about that business, about that industry, about the brand. And this includes a lot of things, which includes things like, how long the company has been into the business. Second, what is the average success rate of their franchisees who have been operating the business? Very, very important. And third, I would say also look at how long do franchisees stay on an average in the system. So three things, how long the company has been in the business. But having said that, it does not mean all the new companies might not do well, but how long the company has been in the business, and what is the I would say impact they have created in the community they are reaching out to. Second, the average success rate of their business. And third is the tenure of franchisees in the system. All these things will help you in understanding the quality of the brand that you're selecting. Now, the four parameters which I talked about, on the business when you diagnose a brand will include the leadership, the people behind, the stakeholders, very, very important. Second is there a continuous business improvement engine or not? Third is the talent and the knowledge which the company has. This is very, very important. And lastly, how is that business shaping the market, consumers, community? Businesses today, I maintain, are as strong as communities they are part of. No business can do ever well for a company if it does not do well for the people it touches. So these are four things which you need to look at when you look at brand assessment, and which also and I've further segregated these under 7 points, which includes legacy of the company, the commitment of the brand. SOPs are very important because these bring a lot of standardization, operational efficiencies, help in reduction of deviation of day-to-day operations. It helps you to easily replicate the business model, and most importantly, it helps you perfect the customer service. That's very, very important. And every franchise partner, in their agreements, they sign that they will go and do all the operations based on the SOPs given by the company. And this is one area you need to spend a lot of time understanding. And this also becomes a part of the training which all of you go through. And I think last time I was speaking to an investor, he said, I would like to go ahead, but can I have somebody in my family also take the training? And that's a very, very important point. A lot of us who take franchisees ourselves go and take the training, but we sometimes ignore or, fail to get somebody in our inner circle, which could be a family, which could be a friend, or somebody who can also take care of the business in your absence. So anytime you do that training with the company, also ensure that you have somebody in the family who's also coming along and undertaking that, and insist that with the company. Third is operating cost and reinvestment. All businesses that we look at are also ongoing operational cost, which includes your rental, your cost of the product, or the salaries of the staff. So all that is something you must understand. Some businesses are low on initial investment but high on operating cost. Some are high on initial investment but low on operating cost, depending on the industry. So you understand, which category, which brand, and understand your operating cost in detail. And also there is escalation, because every year the salaries, the cost of goods, all that is inflated. To understand that, you have to maybe understand to what extent the inflation would impact, right? And also reinvestment, and reinvestment would mean investment in the stock. Reinvestment could also mean reinvestment in the infrastructure. Like I talked about Croma, they go into 21 years agreement. So every 5-6 years, there's a reinvestment which is done in the infrastructure, where it is written in agreements what percentage of that reinvestment would be done by you in the premise. So understand that very detailed with the company. Margins and ROI are two important areas that we often talk about, but we don't understand so much. Margins, there is no a single thumb rule of what margins are good. Is it 3%, 15%, 20%, 30%? Sometimes 3 is good and sometimes 20 is also bad, is what I say. So if you look at a category like jewelry, or a category like I would say even telecom as an industry, when we look at we working with a lot of these businesses come with a comparatively low margin, maybe a jewelry business or a telecom mobile phone business refurbished, or they come with a small margin, but jewelry works on value because the ticket size is high, right? So you make money there. Business of grocery, kirana store, it also works on very, very thin margins, but it is a big volume business. So higher the volume, better your bottom line would be, right? So margins also are different based on the industry, which can be as small as 2 to 3%. It goes up to about 30-35% based on the category or the industry that you have chosen. And when we talk about ROI, people think, every business should give return in say 1.5 years or 2 years, 3 years. But the basic thumb rule for ROI is, apart from the simple calculation that we do, it's important to understand the life of that business, the life of the investment that we have made. If the life of the investment is 21 years, like in case of Chroma, like in case of maybe a hospital, or maybe in case of a K-12 school, your life of opportunity horizon is big. You don't shut hospitals, you're not shutting schools. So your horizon is big. So your return on investment is proportionate to that life of that business. But on an average, if I talk about regular businesses that we do, the ROI typically would range from anything between 1.5 to about 3.5 odd years. Right. So legal agreement and conflict resolution are two important areas which are often ignored when we sign these agreements. And India does not have any law on franchising. So everything that becomes a part of the contract becomes a binding on both the company and the franchisor and the franchisee, which is you. So you need to understand which are the firm clauses that company will not negotiate, but there are also some flexible clauses which company is happy to work or negotiate because it helps you, encourages your business. But there are firm clauses which does not go well with the company. So understand these clauses very well. Franchise India also has a legal team that helps and works with you in vetting all these agreements that come to you. And then training and I talked about marketing support. There are two kind of marketing which company would do, and equally for the franchisee. One side of marketing is done by the company, which is maybe at the national level, regional level. That investment is done by the company, but anything to do with your own store marketing, local store marketing is complete responsibility with the franchisee, right? For example, we work with a company like Vedantu, we work with even GOBP petrol stations, but any kind of local marketing, advertisement, all that which needs to be done is done by the franchisee. Anything on the national level, regional level, TV advertisements, all that is done by the company. So local store marketing, the thumb rule for the budget is 2%. जो भी आपका top line है revenue का, उसका 2% investment आप हर महीने marketing में कीजिए, because that's not an expense, I would say, that's an investment that you put in to increase and sustain your subscriber group, which is very, very important. And lastly, I would touch upon risk hedging. And if you understand, we started with initially why people want to look at franchising, because it reduces the risk. So if the business does not give you that hedging of risk, it is not a business that you should go ahead. So when I talk about the hedging of risk, companies today are giving a lot of interesting exits, or I would say safe exits to investor. They're also giving very interesting options, like maybe they buy back the entire stock which is unsold. They give you a good stock correction. They also do sale or return of the stock. So all these combinations are done by company. So understand what is the proposition the company is offering when it comes to hedging of your risk. Now very quickly, I'll go on the last two slides where we talk about how we would work with you and each of our advisors all across India. And these are 6 things, just to recap, and I talked about that. When Franchise India works with you, we work with you understanding your personal interest in the industry. We give you insights on the promoters and partners and that company. Hedging of risk, which I just talked about. 5 years lifespan of growth is very, very important. Any opportunity that I feel or our teams feel is not right. A couple of days back, I recently, just before the webinar, we closed a deal with one of the leading companies in the country. And the gentleman who took the franchisee was looking for something else. And he said, I was exploring, but I've not yet, gone. And we had some bad experience of franchisees or investor who had taken that business, and we got to know. And I said, while if you want to do it, we would still help you, but we don't recommend you go ahead and sign that. And we gave him all the options. So, as a company, we'll give you all options. We advise you, but ultimate decision making is yours. So I told him, these are 2 things. One is this brand and the other is what you want. But we'll give you all the inputs, but final decision making is yours. So we gave him all the information, and finally he chose the brand, which was obviously not the brand that he wanted to, but the other brand, weighing all the pros and cons. So shorter payback period is one area that everybody looks at. But like I mentioned, aapka jo ROI hai, depends on the opportunity horizon. How big is that? Level of engagement and pride with the brand is also very, very important. Another thing which I want to, and I missed out, in my previous slide, today we also have a lot of opportunities of conversion. If any one of you are running any existing setup of maybe even preschools or some other, and you want to convert to a brand, there are many good opportunities that Franchise India team can help you with. And one interesting opportunity we're launching tomorrow, and it's an opportunity for the very first time from India's leading education company, which is Eurokids, and they're launching their preschool conversion model. While they're acquiring new franchisees in preschool, but they're launching a very, very interesting conversion model for anybody who has a premise, has been running a preschool. So we can talk about that now also. So that's one example which I wanted to share with you. Next slide, please. Then this is the process that we follow. If you look at the screen, any business buying process goes through these 4 stages, starting with the information stage, where both you as well as Franchise India advisors, we collectively work to understand your fitment, and we'll understand all the 5 assessment tools that we talked about. We work with you on that, and then we share options with you, which is based on SOMF fit, which is strategic fit, operational fit, market fit, and financial fit. So we understand these 4 fitments, and based on these 4 fitments, we then suggest which brands you must select. So strategic would mean, your experience in the industry, or your education or the profession. Second could be an operational fit, which is your own time involvement in the business. Third is market fit. What is the right business for the market that you want to operate? And lastly is the investment, which is financial fit. Another example, I'll give you, recently closed a deal, and this gentleman had a very prime property in one of the cities in South India. And this location had been on rent for the last 3 odd months, and he was looking at opportunities, and he came across Franchise India. He registered with us 10 days back, and he signed a business just in about a week's time. And this property had taken on rent for the last about 2 to 3 odd months and had not been operating, and this guy was giving rental. And this gentleman was also busy in other businesses he was running, including a cafe, a furniture store of his, which he's running in a couple of cities in South India. So virtually he didn't have too much of time to be explored. And on one side, he had a burn of rental that was going on. And he looked at, and we also knew what businesses could run there, and there was a salon we suggested, because a lot of good salons were running in that vicinity. And he told us almost every brand, including Tony and Guy Naturals, and we were thinking, what are the brand, because all the salons were running in that location. And finally, we concluded a deal with another player that was not there in that location, but again, a big company from the Times of India group that we closed with him. So all that, does take time, because we need to understand the property location, what can work there, the existing players already operating in the market. So all that evaluation is done by our teams. We also participate in the negotiation phase, which includes including tri-party meetings, calls, and the gentleman I'm talking about, I myself was a part of at least 15 calls we did with the brand and him, including his Google Maps location videos, site visit, his visit to the company. So all that took while the span just looked about 1 week, but we had almost 3-4 calls every day happening back to back. So our teams participate. We also assist in deal structuring, which is very important, and this is one area which is missed by every investor. They don't get involved in the deal structuring. They feel just negotiating on the franchise fees and royalty is the job, and if they have done that, they've got a great deal. But deal structuring does not include just royalties and franchise fees. It goes much beyond. It includes the support that you should get, obligations. So all that is something our teams also work with you very, very closely in structuring of the deal. And lastly is signing off the letter of intent and agreement. So Franchise India teams advises you through the entire stage. We work with you through all these stages of information, evaluation, and till the time that you sign on the dotted line. So all these 4 stages is where our teams work very, very closely with you. Next slide, please. So what you get as an investor advantage program with Franchise India, you get 1 hour each for self-evaluation, where our team works with you, industry selection. And we also, from the brands that we share with you, minimum 10 discovery days that we align with you, which means minimum 5 hours is what our teams would commit for 10 brands minimum. Fourth is complimentary invitations. We have a lot of events that we do, brand specific events, and at Franchise India in the last nearly 2 years, I would say a couple of months, less than 2 years, ever since the pandemic began, we started all our events digitally, and we have launched more than 1,000 companies through our digital platform. And all these webinars, a big library of that is today available on the Facebook page of Franchise India. brands. So you can go and see, you can click on any of the videos and understand the complete business model. So you can you get complimentary invitations to the webinars. You also get invitations for the FROs. These are bigger exhibitions that we do, like the one which is happening in Bombay on Saturday and Sunday, 2-day show. While there's an entry fee for other investors, but everybody who's a registered investor of Franchise India gets a free complimentary invitations to these shows. In these shows, you will get minimum 100 companies participating, and these shows get anything between 4 to 10,000 people coming and visiting these exhibitions. There's a 1-year advisory session that goes for the entire year. 30 minutes is what we spend on the legal advice, vetting your agreement, advising you on the legal structure. 2 hours, which is the maximum that you see, is something that we spend on structuring of the entire deal, which is very, 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 very important. Right. So this is where we come in. And also I've put, post deal mediation. This is something which does not require too much of our involvement. And like you see, we have limited scope here, but it can be done if both the parties, you and franchisor, agree that we come and mediate that for you. So we can also come there. And lastly, 30 minutes from all the investors who are on the session today. Anyone who gets registered from this session, there is a 1-to-1 session for the first 10 candidates from this webinar, which can directly be booked either in physical meetings if we are in those cities, or virtually through Zooms or telephonic calls, which will be done directly with myself and Mr. Gaurav Maurya, who's the chairman of the company. Next slide, please. So what it takes to become a member, and this is a 1-year fee, friend, this is a one-time fee which you pay, and this is 25,000 for a period of 12 months. And there's a flat success fee of 50,000 that is given after all the 4 stages is where we work. So 25,000 commits your time, commits our time, and also commits the seriousness of both the stakeholders, which is you and us at Franchise India, that we're committed for that period, and we deploy a dedicated team member who works very closely with you. And so if you're keen, friends, you can reach out to Franchise India hotline number, and we'll help you connect with our regional teams also in your city. And I also have Ms. Kanika Khera. She's heading this department of Investor Advantage, and she will refer you to our teams in the locations that you want to. And if you're looking for meetings, please start blocking your time. Kanika, can I request if you have the last slides for our investors for the upcoming events? And Mr. Ram, I see you raising your hand. If you have a question, you can put that in the Q&A box. And I will also request, we have our hotline number, which is 9717683838. And also the email ID, which I'll put in the chat box, which is feedback@franchiseindia.in. Any one of you who wants to reach out can do that. And I will also request Kanika, if you can, maybe I'll do that. This is the email ID, friends, that you can take. I'm typing as I'm saying, and I will also give you my email ID, which is csonia@franchiseindia.in. You can write to me on this ID. And we have a event which is happening tomorrow, 12 o'clock. This is a franchisee invested, company operated, or a franchisee owned company operated, does not require your involvement. And this is a opportunity with a company called Eon charging stations, again, electric vehicle charging stations. And primarily they're looking for cities within south of India. So this is 12 noon tomorrow. If you are interested, friends, you can reach on the hotline number, email ID, and register for this tomorrow. Next. And this was the, the iconic brand we're talking about, Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids. This is a company which is Lighthouse Learning. And this is an opportunity for all of you. We have 2 sets of opportunities that we want to present. One is conversion. If you're looking for an opportunity as a fresh franchisee, you can also join the webinar. So conversion would mean if you're running a preschool, already you want to convert to a Eurokids, you can do that. But even if you're interested in a preschool category, you don't run any school, the company is also offering franchisees. So this is tomorrow at 4 p.m., 10th of December, which is Friday. Again, you can reach out on the hotline number that you see there, email ID that I sent to you, and you will be sent a link to get registered. Next slide, please. Great. And finally, this is the exhibition hub. This is happening in Bombay, and it is happening almost, I would say, after 1 year. This is only an exhibition that happens once in a year. Bombay exhibition, 11th and 12th of December, happening in Bombay Convention and Exhibition Center in Bombay. 2-day show. If you're interested to get registered, again, you can reach out to us and we'll help you with the link to get registered. You can also check the number of companies and brands which are participating in the exhibition. And Friends, just take a moment in the chat box. You can copy all the links and maybe we can wait for a couple of seconds while you do that. So all the links for the webinars and Bombay show, friends, you please find in the chat box. Kindly copy in case you need more information. Again, reach out on our numbers and email ID and we'll reach out to you. Thank you and have a great day ahead.